Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. Once again, Stone Shields on hand. On today's episode, we're going to be diving into some potential overreactions after the Bengals' unofficial end of the season that took place, of course, yesterday when they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers yet again. Another loss at home for the Cincinnati Bengals. Again, Bengals not technically mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, but I have come to terms with the fact that, hey, the 2024 season is probably over, as sad and unfortunate as that is. I've got 5 potential overreactions coming your guys' way. A lot of potential firings that we're going to be talking about. I know you guys love talking about firing coaches, so I'm finally on today's show going to be talking a little bit more in depth about potentially moving some guys out of the building. Before we get into that, I want to remind you guys to like today's video for me if you have not done so already. Hit that thumbs up icon. We, of course, are now in the month of December, and we're going to be running back our like battle with the Ravens. We have done this the past 4 months, and we're 2-2 split. So it really is awesome that we are competing with the Ravens channel. They are a much bigger channel than we are, and we still have a 2-2 split the past 4 months. So this month of December, let's ultimately win 2024 and beat them in the month of December. That is the goal. Let's get 400 likes on this video. It helps us out. It allows us to provide more Bengals breakdown content for you guys. So hit that thumbs up icon for me right now. First potential overreaction here is fire Lou Anarumo, who, of course, is the defensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. Look, in his time here in Cincinnati with Zac Taylor, he's done some good things, but the past 2 years certainly have not been awesome, to say the least. And I don't think this is an overreaction whatsoever to fire Lou Anarumo. Look, if the Bengals do indeed fire Lou Anarumo, it's my belief that he will get scooped up pretty much immediately by another team. I think he's well respected around the league, and he will have another offer very, very shortly. But the effort and attention to detail by this Cincinnati Bengals defense this season has been absolutely unacceptable. It is like they are guarding air out there. They don't guard the players, they just guard air. And people run free all across their defense. They have been all season long. And the tackling also has been a major issue for this Cincinnati Bengals team. Russell Wilson and the Steelers absolutely went off yesterday. And really, when you take a look at Pittsburgh's offense over the past couple of years, they've kind of been known to be a little archaic and kind of just win with defense or whatever the case may be. And Russell Wilson's certainly a good quarterback. He'll go down as a good quarterback when it is said and done with his career. But the past couple of years, he has not been that special, and the Bengals made him look like Tom Brady out there on Sundays. He was absolutely dicing them up. So at some point, we will see how this Bengals defense finishes the season, but it is not out of the question to let Lou Anarumo go. Again, he's done some good things for this team in the past, but the play on the defensive side of the ball has been absolutely unacceptable, and ultimately that falls on the shoulders of Lou Anarumo. I understand the personnel is not there for Lou. Totally get that. But at some point, you need to see a little bit more improvement. And they've given up 40-plus points multiple times this year. This isn't college, by the way. This is the NFL, and they're giving up 40 points on a relatively regular basis. That falls on the defensive coordinator. I would not be surprised if the Bengals let Lou go, and I wouldn't mind, honestly, either, if they let him go. I got a lot of love and respect for Lou Anarumo, but just unacceptable results on the defensive side of the ball. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. It's actually the same pinned comment as our instant reaction video yesterday. Let me know if you guys have changed your thought process on this. Would you fire Lou Anarumo? Type F for fire, K for keep. I'm willing to give him the rest of the season, see if this defense can string some things together. But at the end of the day, if they continue to play like this, it might be time to let him go. But sound off for us at the pinned comment of today's video. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. All right, overreaction 2, blow up the entire defense. And look, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't think this is an overreaction whatsoever. When I take a look at this Cincinnati Bengals defense, they've really got one guy, and that's Trey Hendrickson. Apart from that, I don't really see any winning players on this defense. Sam Hubbard, love Sam Hubbard, will always love Sam Hubbard, all the things that he has done for the city of Cincinnati and this Bengals franchise. He's not the same player he once was. He might be a guy that needs to go on the back end there, the secondary. Look, I know you're banged up. You would love to have Dax Hill out there, who was having a great season before he got hurt. DJ Turner showed some promise against the Chargers before he got hurt. but those guys don't guard whatsoever out there in the secondary. And really, it's the safeties that I've been most disappointed by so far this season. If I had to pick a particular group, Bengals keep running Geno Stone out there. I understand they paid him in free agency. There might be some pressure there from the front office to do that, but he played 100% of the snaps on Sunday, and he is just not fast enough. He lets people lets himself get beat over the top, and doesn't close the distance very well, misses tackles. My goodness. Jordan Battle started in place of Von Bell in this game. He wasn't very good either. So at that safety position, we've mentioned trying the idea of Tyson Anderson. For whatever reason, the Bengals haven't tried it. They obviously know more than we do, but that safety position is a disaster. And those corners, man, Mike Hilton has done some great things as a Cincinnati Bengal, but that game he played on Sunday was absolutely horrendous, getting beat all over the place multiple times. And I just think this whole defense needs a complete revamp. I understand that's not kind of status quo to just blow it all up, right? But I think that's where kind of the Bengals are forced to be right now. I think they need a complete revamp because they just have way too much talent on offense to be as bad as they are as a football team sitting here at 4-8 in the month of December. Just absolutely unacceptable. If I'm Duke Tobin, I am blowing this whole thing up, because Duke Tobin, along with a bunch of other people, are going to be, working for their jobs here in 2025. If things don't get turned around that year, we could be looking at a total revamp of this entire football team, organization, and staff. We'll continue with our overreactions here in a moment, but first, Game Time is back, and today's show is presented by Game Time. Look, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. You can get some tickets for some remaining Bengals games at home. I know that Cleveland game will be at home, and you can get some tickets there over on Game Time. UC basketball, always love going to Fifth Third and checking those games out. Should be a really good year for the Cats. And also tickets to A Christmas Carol, a little play action. You can get those on Game Time as well. My two favorite features on Game Time: the seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Also, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front, so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout like some of those other ticketing companies can get you with. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Overreaction number 3, sticking to the firing train here. Fire Marion Hobby. You might be asking who Hobby is. Well, Hobby is the defensive line coach for this Cincinnati Bengals football team, and I also do not think this is an overreaction whatsoever. You haven't seen any development in the trenches for Cincinnati on the defensive side of the ball. They are so reliant on the talent of Trey Hendrickson and Trey Hendrickson alone. From a pass rush perspective, you got Myles Murphy. That's who Marion Hobby wanted. Hobby has ties to Clemson. Of course, Myles Murphy was a member of the Clemson football team in college. That has not worked out whatsoever. That alone could honestly be a fireable offense. Osai had a great special teams play yesterday, blocking that field goal, but as far as pass rush goes, he cannot get it done. Sam Hubbard, I've mentioned him already on today's show. I'm going to continue to appreciate, love, and respect Sam Hubbard. But the play just has been unacceptable to keep rolling him out there on the football field, and you might have to look at potentially moving off of him next season. The interior has been a little bit better. I am pleased with how Chris Jenkins Jr. is coming along, but with the illness of Sheldon Rankins that have caused him to miss the past couple of games, the depth on the interior just isn't there whatsoever. And when you lack depth, you need coaching to take that next step, and Marion Hobby has not been able to do that in 2024, and he was not able to do it either in 2023. He might be the number one guy that I am looking to move off of. Even if you happen to keep Lou Anarumo, I just don't think Marion Hobby has done enough to keep his job. You have to mix some things up. It's just the nature of the league. When you are a 4-8 football team and had Super Bowl aspirations coming into the season, and you underachieve by that significant of a margin, people need to be moved off of. That's just kind of the reality of the business. And it really is unfortunate, but that's just kind of the way it is. I think Marion Hobby is the number one guy I would move off of if I was the Cincinnati Bengals at the end of the season. Another opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Who deserves the most blame for Sunday's loss? Give me someone. Look, at the end of the day, I still think it is the front office 100% if you have to zero in on one kind of factor of this organization. I believe it is them, but coaches and players deserve blame as well. So give me a name, drop a name, or, just say the front office. Let me know regardless in the comment section of today's video. Sticking to the firing train here. Overreaction number 4, fire Zac Taylor. And look, you guys shouldn't be surprised. My stance on this has not changed. This is a complete overreaction. I'm not firing Zac Taylor. That doesn't mean there isn't significant pressure on Taylor in 2025. If he does this over again in 2025, it might be time for him to go. But the offense is clicking too well right now, and of course that is Taylor's side of the ball. I understand he's got Joe Burrow, but we've seen some really good things from Zac Taylor offensively. One play that comes to mind there yesterday, that 3rd and 21, that you're sitting there like, oh my God, we got to punt the ball back to Pittsburgh, and he draws up a beautiful play to get T. Higgins the ball, dime from Burrow nonetheless. Awesome play from Zac Taylor that kept that drive alive and ultimately resulted in points for Cincinnati. I thought Taylor did some really good things. He also was brilliant when he sent the offense out there on the own 40. They did the hard count. They got Pittsburgh to jump into the neutral zone, and then the officials called it a false start on Alex Cappa, which Burrow addressed that after the game, said it was a bad call. Said he has a lot of respect for that officiating crew, but they missed that one, and they 100% did. That's what we were all saying during our watch party as well. But I just think the offense is clicking too well. We've seen Zac Taylor have too much success to just go off of him after one bad season. There's a ton of pressure on him in 2025. But you also have to understand Mike Brown, the owner of this team, I think he's 90 years old. If not, he is approaching that age. He cannot afford, it's just reality, he cannot afford to hit that restart button at this point if he wants to see a Super Bowl championship at some point. Despite being 4-8, I don't think this team is that far off. They need a lot of changes, but as far as changing the head coach, that's really the second biggest change you could do, right? Changing the quarterback, changing the head coach. Obviously, you're not going to change the quarterback, but changing the head coach, that seems like too significant of a decision to make, and I think Zac Taylor needs to be here for 2025, and I still believe he is the right coach to lead this football team. Last overreaction here before we get out of here. Sit Joe Burrow. I've seen that a lot on social media. People on the internet saying, you know what, the Bengals need to sit Joe Burrow. I understand that if Burrow suffers a significant injury over the course of these next 5 games, that would make this the worst season in Bengals history, and it would be absolutely devastating. I understand that. But it is too early at this point to make that decision to sit Joe Burrow. Look, Joe Burrow, you're going to have to drag him off that field. Now, sitting him for the last game against Pittsburgh, if you're out of it, I understand that. But sitting him here with multiple games to go, that is just not going to happen. One, Burrow's got to prove to his teammates that he can get through an entire season. That's his job. That's what he's getting paid to do, is play quarterback for this team. He wants to be out there. He's a fierce competitor. And look, there's some records that I'm sure he can set, and certainly Jamar Chase can set, trying to chase that triple crown. That's probably something that they're going to be focusing on when they get eliminated from playoff contention. So I really hope he plays smarter over these next couple of weeks and isn't as aggressive and doesn't put his body on the line as much, but I would like to still see him out there. I understand if he gets hurt, it's going to be borderline the end of the world, right, if that happens to Joe Burrow. But at this point, it is still too early to tell, or it's still too early to make that decision to go ahead and sit Joe Burrow for the remainder of the season. He talked about it at his press conference yesterday after the game, how at this point in the season, it's going to be really critical for those guys to play well on this Bengals team so they can determine who's going to be guys that they can count on in 2025 and who are going to be the guys that they cannot count on in 2025. And from a leadership perspective, Joe Burrow needs to stay out there and keep playing a little bit. He needs to be safe, protect himself at all times, but he needs to continue to play over these next couple of games. Maybe we can have a serious conversation about this in the last couple of games of the season if it gets to that point. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. The Bengals season might be over from a playoff perspective, but there still is plenty to talk about, plenty to dive into, plenty to unpack about this football team, and eventually we'll have some off-season type videos for you guys. Draft stuff, free agency stuff. Should be a lot of fun discussing all of that. So don't miss any of our coverage. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV.